What's up, 8th International family? Welcome back to HOMECAST, and my new special guest today is one I've worked with and currently working with right now my whole career. And may you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Spencer. I am the owner and founder of Swishh Music. You can find me on Instagram at Swishh with two H's, music. We help artists get established, really.
That's all it is. Artists get established.
Hmm.
I can vouch for him. You know what I mean? It's boosted my career. If you've been following my music, you check the stats. I check the statistics. But seriously, but like he's helped out a whole lot. I don't a whole lot. That's all I can really say. But let's get straight into it. Again, if you like
Hell
the
yeah.
show, subscribe, like, comment, and check out both of our socials in the description below. So first, Mr. Spencer, what is Swishh Music?
I mean, it's where we help artists get established, but really, like, we're focused on helping artists grow and really, like, taking my business perspective. I've been studying business for as long as I can remember, really. And it's really giving the artists the business perspective that they need, because a lot of them know what they need when it comes to music, but a lot of them don't know like the business side of things, the marketing, and they don't realize a lot of times that just good music in and of itself, if it's not marketed well, may not reach the fans that it needs to. And
True.
without that, you don't have the business or the career that you really want.
Very, very true. That's what I've been seeing a lot recently. It's like I hear a whole lot of good music, but then I ask them, it's like, how you gonna market? It's like, I don't really feel like it, or like, you know what I mean? This is not. I don't want to do all that. I'm like, hey man, you do what you want, but you ain't neglecting yourself from like your own success.
100%. Yeah, I mean, it's like there's a great book like The E-Myth Revisited. And it's like there's the specialist, but there's also like the specialist is the person who like does the actual thing, so like making the music. But then there's two other roles, and you need to have all three if you really want to be great. And so you need to have like the specialist or like the technician, the skills person, but you need to have like the visionary, like the person who understands like the entire picture. And then you also need to have like the manager, the person who's executing everything. And if you don't have all three of those roles, it doesn't always have to be you, but if you don't always have those three roles, the visionary, the manager, and the technician, you're not going to have a really stable business.
And that's truth right there. And also in the beginning, you're probably gonna have to play all three roles unless you got buddies
Yeah.
or somebody that you really trust and they can like see your vision to help you build.
100%. Yeah. And like the biggest thing is just learning that like if you don't have that person around, it's like no one's going to do it for you. And like a lot of people wait, they think they just got to get a manager or something. It's like, no, you got to teach yourself right now. And that way, when the right manager comes, like into your world, you know like what are the things that they need to get done, and you can actually collaborate with them and help each other out, and really own your business as opposed to like just hoping the other person knows what they need to do.
I totally agree. Also, it's like, and there's no excuse for it as well. Like I can understand time because people got jobs, you know what I mean, time management, but like being educated on it, there's no excuse for being plain up ignorant about that stuff. Because YouTube,
Yeah,
I stand by this all the time. YouTube will put you through life, and I will
for
stand
real,
on
man.
that shit. I will
YouTube
stand on it.
University. Yep.
That's all it is. And probably be a surgeon off YouTube.
For real. I don't know if I trust that.
Oh, but
I
yeah.
don't know if I go into the knife, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
You
Hell yeah, there's
surgeon come up. Where
tons
you
of
study
information.
that? Oh, like at home? Or you like,
I read
on
some books.
YouTube?
Yeah.
Read some books. Question. What were some? Oh no, why and when did you start Swishh Music?
Really, like I got into music after a previous business on eBay, and it was at the time doing well. And so like I just got into music with some friends, and we were just like we always like I don't know how many people think like they could make music and stuff, but we were those kids, and we just decided like, let's just start freestyling and like in the car and stuff, and like let's just see how it goes. And we wrote a song, went to a studio, recorded it, And it just turned into a passion for music. We just kept on doing it, learned how to get my own equipment, and I was really like the audio engineer of the group, the person who like,
Hey.
yeah, who like kind of learned all those skills. It took me a minute, but as I learned those skills and I had the business and sales background, I just like moved into that as well, and I started taking on audio engineering clients, and my audio engineering like page and everything. I was also making music myself, and that was growing too. But bigger than that was the audio engineering side of things, because that was really like, to me, that was like the business. I never really wanted to like perform so much as an artist, and I didn't really ever look at myself as like a rapper, but it was something to do for fun. And then the audio engineering side of things was like the business. Both of those pages started growing faster than pretty much everybody else who I was working with, and just over time, like I started mixing for people locally, started mixing for people online, and growing my accounts. And I realized that's where people also need like the business mindset of everything. So I started sharing that, sharing mindset stuff, and it kind of morphed into what I'm doing now, where I'm helping people promote as well as starting to grow on Instagram and SoundCloud.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And thank you for that as well. Thank you very much. What were some troubles that you faced when first starting Swishh?
Yeah, I was like, so once I got into the music, I started putting so much time into that I didn't really pay attention to my business. I had an eBay business where I was like drop shipping. I don't know if you're like familiar with that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Dropshipping be. Oh.
Yeah.
It was good at one point until everybody started. Then it started becoming like oversaturated, right?
Yeah, and that and eBay like they just didn't like it because the drop shippers didn't have control of the product, and sometimes the package would say like Walmart or like Amazon or wherever we would get the products from. And so eBay didn't like that because sometimes Amazon or Walmart or whatever, they ship and like, I don't know, there's some issue or whatever. And so eBay wanted the sellers to have total control of the product. And so I was already in too deep kind of, and I was kind of already like, I was spending all of my time on music, and I had the whole thing automated. So I just kind of let it ride and didn't really check anything, didn't check on emails and stuff. And little did I know, like there was email in my inbox that was saying like, hey, you got to get your certain orders out. You got to like fix a couple of things. And I never even really saw that email until like my account got suspended indefinitely, and that was basically it. Yeah.
So, definitely.
Yeah, so that was the biggest struggle. Like once that happened, like I was kind of like out of a way to make money, and I was still like this cocky person who was like, well shit, that'll just figure itself out. I'm just gonna keep on putting all my time into this eBay stuff. I had some credit cards and stuff. I was like, yeah, I'll figure out the business or whatever later. And so like I just kept on making music, and I tried like a little bit half-assedly to make like a drop shipping store off of like Shopify, and it never really panned out because I didn't have like a mentor the same way I had a mentor in a whole group, like a whole support group with eBay. So the biggest struggle was I needed to make money. And so that's kind of where I decided like, all right, I'm not the best at making music anyway. I don't really look at myself like having a career there. I've put all this time into understanding business, sales, and I have a skill now, which is audio engineering. And so I decided to go that path. And then the next sort of trouble was like my time. Like,
yeah,
I need to make money with my time. And
yes.
I have bills to pay. I have credit card debt. And so like being aware of that, it was like, all right, I can't just be making music with friends all the time because they don't pay.
Yeah,
so
that shit.
Yeah,
that
so
shit
so it was like, all right, well, there were some kids like locally who were a little bit younger who I started mixing for, charged like $20 an hour, and I started realizing that's not even good enough. And so over time I had to get a job, started working like 50 hours a week at Amazon. Yeah. And then in my free time I would be like recording for clients, and I pretty much like filled up my entire schedule with that.
Did you sleep? Did you sleep?
Certain days. Certain days I would literally like I would sleep 2 hours, and then like that would be it. It got to a point it would be like once a week I would just sleep 2 hours, and I somehow managed. Like I take certain supplements, like 5-HTP is a big one for me. And
Does it
like
help like
yeah, like
with energy throughout the day or something?
it gives me energy. I don't know if it's even supposed to do that. Like
Yeah.
it's like it's supposed to help with sleep, relaxation, like mood control. Um, but yeah, like ever since college, I was like experimenting with those, so maybe that helped. But it was also that I was really passionate about what I was doing, and like I just
Definitely.
wanted to like one get out of debt because I spent a lot of time just making music, and like not making money and not even worrying about like racking up credit card debt, like paying for just whatever off of that, like not only living expenses but like studio like equipment, plugins, all type of stuff. And so yeah, I just that came back to bite me, and it was like, all right, well now I got to get serious, because nobody's gonna do this for me. So I got to start
Definitely.
being my manager, so to speak. And so I started tracking all that stuff, managing all my finances, and managing my time too. And some days it was like, all right, well, I don't really need like sleep isn't gonna help me make money or make progress in these areas. And I really love what I'm doing, so I had enough energy to do that.
And this is sacrifice. Yeah, that drive, man. It's really just that drive.
Yeah,
To just I don't know. It's just like after one point, I feel like you get so used to it that just becomes automatic. You know,
yeah, like it probably that's probably how it started. Like it was just like one night, and then I realized that I could do it, and then like
you just did it every night,
yeah,
and
and then
then it just felt like nothing after a certain point. Because I feel as
yeah,
though I'm slowly reaching that point where I'm just like, okay, day in, day out, get in the stool, get all the business management done, and I go to sleep, and then like, I mean, I love it. I have no complaints because I'm doing what I love.
yeah,
So
exactly, man.
that's at the end of the day, yeah, it's work and it's a lot of work, but if it's something you love, it doesn't really feel like anything.
Exactly.
Cause, cause
And
I
that's
bet
what,
that the Amazon job that you had, whoo, I bet.
well, that's the weird thing. Like, I actually
Oh,
liked that job. I
for
loved that
real?
job too. And like, it was crazy because I would work like literally 10-hour days, like just driving in a car. But I loved it because I was by myself, and that was the first job I had where I had total freedom of what I was listening to. And I would just listen to audiobooks, and I would study the shit out of like marketing and
Oh,
yeah, all type of stuff with growing an Instagram. And that's what I would, once I'm done working, like I always told myself like the real work starts when I clock out, because once I clock out, that's when I'd go and work on all the stuff I learned while on the job. So at the same time, like while I'm learning all this stuff, I'm kind of getting a workout in too, because I'm delivering packages. And sometimes you get like not sometimes, every single day you get like some people ordering like dog food and shit, like 50 pounds or some shit, like,
damn.
so like I'd be like really be working out too. So it all was like a perfect formula for me. I still look back at that as like some of the best days, like even though it was like maybe like the worst from the outside looking in, like I loved it.
Yeah,
So
it's
yeah.
true. It's like every quote or like cliche. It's like it's not about the destination, it's about the journey.
Hmm.
They're serious when they mean that. It's like, dang, I remember building all this stuff. It was more fun than it is now, or
Yeah,
something
for
like
real.
that.
And yeah, sometimes like I mean, some days sucked, like especially days when it
Oh
would like
yeah,
rain and stuff. Like yeah, it sucked, but like
hell yeah.
it's almost like just looking back on it and all the progress I was making, and being able to push myself and like move through difficulty, um, and not really complain, and nobody even really knew like I was going through stuff. Um, I just look back on it as some of like my best days, and like I always try to stay at that level, and keep on pushing even when, because then it was kind of forced. Now it's like
Yeah.
now I gotta force it on myself. But yeah.
What about any any tips for up and coming entrepreneurs that are like, yeah, just entrepreneurs in general?
Yeah. Um, I mean, with them, like, I think the biggest thing is to love what you do. Like, I learned that the hard way with myself with eBay. Like, I love music way more. And so that's
Yeah.
why I didn't make eBay really work. Even when it was kind of successful, like, once it was kind of successful, then it was like, all right, well, I'm gonna actually do something I enjoy with my time now. And then the business fell apart. And I couldn't even
Damn.
build another one because I just didn't have enough energy, like, for it. but I could build something with music, even despite working 50 hours a week. Like I would figure out how to use those 50 hours of working to still like put everything into the music. So, or just the business in general. And, yeah, I mean, the biggest thing I think is do what you love. But then also be able to do like the things that are difficult in that as if you love them as well. So like the difficult things being like keeping track of your books, keeping track of like your team, like structuring out like how you want everything to look 3 years from now, and then like kind of working backwards and turning that into a daily process. Like what are the things you know you need to do on a daily basis to get things done. Like some of the books I read, like the best book, like some of the best books is like Traction by Gino Wickman, and the 4 Disciplines of Execution by Sean Covey. And those books taught me first that you want to like understand the difference between lead measures and lag measures, because lag measures are like X amount of followers or X amount of dollars per month, or like the results basically.
Yeah.
But nobody really pays attention to the lead measures. Like those are called lag measures because they're what happened after you put in the work. But the lead measure is the actual work. Like what is the work that you need to do to get to that lag measure? Like if you want to have 10,000 followers, you can't wake up and say, I'm going to gain 100 followers today. That's not within your control. But with what is within your control is creating a certain post, or like doing a video shoot, or writing, or like whatever the work is. You got to be aware of that and put in that work and actually keep track of it. Have like a scoreboard, a dashboard, something where you're tracking that on a daily basis. And you know that if you check those boxes on a daily basis, that long term it's going to lead to the lag measure that you want.
All right, so like you heard it there. Any folks out there trying to build a brand business, listen to this man, because I mean, shoot, just check out his page. That's all I gotta really say. Yeah, he got it on the wraps.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of your page, how did from when you started to like now, what's that time frame? And like between that time frame, when did you say you could be like confidently say it's like this is my living? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah. So I started 2019, like the very end. Well, not the very end, like October of 2019. And that's when I had like no idea what I was doing. I had been working at Amazon for like maybe 3 months. I had been audio engineering, like for money, with clients and stuff for like 6 months. And, like I was brand new, and, I had no way out basically. I had no like understanding of what to do on Instagram, and no like light at the end of the tunnel. Like I just assumed I'm going to be at Amazon for the next 5 years or some shit. And so, from there, I just started like posting like snippets of mixes I had done. I had no idea what I was doing with posting. I read this book, Influencer Income by Jason Capital, and it really, really helped me change my perspective on how to like run my page. And like I started really, really studying as well, like daily, you know, while I was at Amazon, like what am I gonna do or what do I need to do to like really build a business, and what are the things that I don't even know, what are the words that I don't understand, and how can I like just get a whole blueprint created kind of in my head of business, of like how I'm going to run this one specifically. And so I did that by 2020. Once that started, like January, so like 2 months in to like Instagram page, I had a pretty good idea of what I wanted to do. And I think I had like 1,000 followers at that time. I started executing. I started tracking like how many followers I'm gaining on a daily basis. And by like mid-March that year, I was at like 3,500 or something like that followers.
Yes.
And I started really understanding like what to post and things like that. And one of the struggles also that I ran into was like I didn't have like very many photos of myself, and I wasn't even good on video. Like I had to practice the shit out of that. So
I
I
felt
was just
that.
so I would just write.
I
Like I would just write long ass captions. That was like the bulk of my page. But there was a lot of value in there as well. But anyway, so I built up that like following, trust with the audience. I wasn't really selling so much, but once I learned how to promote, which was at the end of end of March 2020, I already had the blueprint for how to sell, how to like stay in touch with my following, how to manage the DMs, because I was getting like a good amount. Like I was talking with a lot of people, at least like 20, 30 people a day. And then I started running ads to do promotion, and that's when things really started taking off. By that like mid-April that year, so like just 2 weeks after I learned that's like how to promote, I was making like 500 or so a day. And so and this was with no website. This was just off Cash App doing promotion for people. And yeah, I had like 4,000 followers on Instagram. I knew it was like doable, like to keep this going. Like I didn't really see any like big issues that would come my way. So I just decided like to quit my job and do Instagram full time. So like it was that quick. Like
Damn.
so like yeah, it was like a 6 month turnaround time while I was at Amazon, from not knowing what to do at all, just studying my ass off and like kind of doing the work, like preparing before I even had the opportunity. Once the opportunity came, I just jumped on it, and then things started really taking off.
6 months, y'all.
Yeah,
6
so
months.
and then like by I don't know, like I want to say July, I broke like 10,000 followers. That being said, though, right after I quit my job, like 2 weeks after I quit my job, the next big struggle that I ran into happened, and this was like right at the start of May in 2020.
Oh yeah, this one.
Instagram took my page down. I had an issue with the ads account, just like I was saying with like the Shopify store. I like tried to build that. I tried to run ads. I even forgot about that. I tried to run ads, and I disabled that ads account because it wasn't going anywhere. I accidentally connected my new Instagram page to that ads account, and then for whatever reason, that combined with COVID, because that was big at the time. Like that was like right when the lockdowns were starting.
Yeah.
So, like no one was in the Instagram office, so I just didn't have a page, and I didn't have anybody to contact to get it back, and so that was a big struggle. And what I learned there was like, you want to have total control of your audience. You don't want to be dependent on somebody else. It would be like having somebody else pay for your like having somebody else like in total control of your communication with your audience. And that's what happened. I had a little email list, like a very small email list, but to any business owners, like you got to have total control of that. You have to have your email list or your text, because if some glitch like that happens, you're screwed. And that's what I ran into. And so luckily I had like enough where I did email my email list, and I had enough saved where I was okay. It took like a month or so to get my Instagram page back. But then, you know, it was the same formula, and I just kept on doing that. But it was never 100% the same. I was making like 500. Some days I would make like 1,000 a day. But after I got my page back, it was much less. It's like maybe 100 or so a day. And honestly, a lot of times it was just about paying for the expenses. Like I was always really big on automating things so I could kind of have my freedom. I'm more of a visionary myself. Like with those three things, like I'm more of a visionary, and I play the manager role. So I can't always be the specialist as well. Like that would be a lot of work to do, especially as what I'm doing with this with a lot of people. So I kind of delegated the specialist work out. But yeah, like, so, I mean, ever since July until like end of like 2020, I was just learning how to manage. I was learning how to follow up and how to set systems up in my business that could, you know, keep everything automated and simple. Cause I'm somebody who's like, I'll really like think a lot, and I'll like put a lot of ideas out, like, cause I'm the visionary type of person. And I need to be able to like, or I had to learn the skill of saying no, essentially, to ideas. Even if they're good ideas, being able to say no to all the good ideas and wait for just that great one, and just put all my energy into that great idea.
Yeah.
and simplify things. So it took me a long time to figure that all out, as well as managing a team. And that's where the book Traction really helped me out, where I understood like you have to have like to create a culture, to understand like what are the right people to work with, all that. You have to know what your values are.
Yeah.
So I got really clear on my own values. It spells out great. So with my team, this is what I was actually just on a call with earlier. It spells out great. My values are growth. So everybody, we want to have continuously being improved at their skills. Reliability. So we want them to like do what they're expected. Going the extra mile. So adding like unexpected value to the team, like being aware of opportunities where we can improve. So now I have my team, and the people who I was working with before, they were horrible at this. But now I have my team where it's like they'll just go out of their way. They'll just create like a new spreadsheet of like keeping track of like the people who are in the Branding Beast case study, for example. And like they'll also keep track of like who we're following up with when, and like I didn't even tell them to do that stuff. And having that value has been like really crucial. But then, so that's GRE. A is awareness. So I want everybody on the team not only to be aware of like what their tasks are and like how to do the work, but why, and understanding like the big picture of how everything interconnects. Because when they understand that, they're not so dependent on me. They don't have to ask a million questions.
Yeah.
They can just, kind of run things. So it's understanding those values is helping me like really automate things and use less of my time managing and more of my time like creating content and coaching clients and things like that. But anyway, that's GREA. T is transparency, and really I just needed it to be a T. It's really communication. And so it spells out great. Those are the values for my own team, and what I kind of hire and fire by. And whenever I have problems, I just go look at my values, and then I say, oh, it's this value. And now I can communicate that simply and clearly to my team. So it's not like they're just like, oh, like my boss is mad at me for no reason and he's just this emotional fuck. Like it's more of like, I actually I've already laid out exactly what I expect and what is needed for people on the team. And it makes it so easy for people to work with you. And understanding your values, like this is where I also realized like people who don't have those same sort of values with who like maybe I worked with as an artist, like I would be like an artist working with an audio engineer. I realized like certain audio engineers who didn't share that value of growth and and transparency, and really share the value of like, this isn't the one on my team, but the value of like just making the most of your time, like being efficient really. They didn't have that. They would just like smoke and get high and then like redo stuff, like look for the auto tune key for like 30 minutes. And it's like, dude, I'm paying you by the minute. Like, why would you be spending all of these? You're literally like costing me $10 to find an auto tune key to a song. It's like, bro. So it helped me really understand, like, even my friend group, everything. Like, values are like the core of who you are. And if you can live by your values on a daily basis, to me, that's really what success is. But yeah, like I got clear on that, and it really helped me manage my team, and really just, it was like a revelation kind of for me. I think just anybody needs to kind of understand their values so that they know who to fuck with, and how to like manage, maybe it's their family, or their team or whatever. Like it's everything really.
Also, I feel like that kind of helps you just in life as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like understanding your values and how you go and treat people and just go by living. So
yeah,
I feel like that would help a lot of self-growth.
Yeah, like what food to eat, like what to do with your time, like all type of stuff. So yeah, like I really think values are like the core of everything. And once you get clear on that, then you can kind of look at even your job, your boss, like everything, and you can really get clear on what is it that you don't like about your job, your boss, your like the way your family is or friends are or whatever. And then you can communicate that clearly to people. And yeah, like I just think that's crucial to understand.
No, definitely. Hey, shit, I learned something new today, y'all. So if y'all ain't getting nothing valuable out of this, I don't know what you're listening to then. Anything else you want to say to the people who are watching?
I mean, like, I think if you're a business owner, you gotta always be around smart people. Like that was another trap that I kind of fell into.
Definitely the circle. Yeah.
Yeah, like, or not even necessarily the circle. It's just like the people who you're investing time with. So like it could be the author of a book, it could be a YouTube channel, it could be this podcast, it could be whatever. Spending time around people who are above you, having a mentor is huge, but just anything in general, like always having a steady stream of new information coming in, from people who are like places where you want to go, is crucial. Like every time I stop reading and I think, I just need to start acting. First, you always do need to be acting too. Like it's a huge balancing game.
Yes.
But like for me, like a big thing was like I got in my own head, and you can easily do that when you don't have any other people's thoughts around. And I even thought, I spent the last 6 months listening to audiobook after audiobook. Like many days I would read 2 books back to back, like cover to cover. But I think you always have to have like just a steady stream of new information. And something I'm doing now is even like everything I read, anything I read or like learn from YouTube or just anything in general, I put into a document, and that document has notes from everything, as opposed to me just writing some notes about like a book and then keeping that on a page in a journal. No, like I put that in a document, and then every day, like first thing I do is I review that document, or like I'm standing in line, or I'm taking a shit, or like I'm wasting like all those little times where you would scroll on Instagram. Instead, you scroll through your notes and you review the information that you're studying. And getting into that habit, like it's hard maybe the first 3 days, but once those 3 days pass, it's like, why wasn't I doing this my entire life? Like this Definitely. Is crucial, right? And so getting new information, adding new information to there on a daily basis, but then reviewing it, like I think you're unstoppable if you can just pick up that habit, and then pick up the habit of like kind of knowing your values, and then understanding what are the lead measures I need to do on a daily basis. Like I think if you can just do those couple of things, like all this stuff is simple. You can really just do whatever you really want with your life. And it's no longer like a guessing game. It's not really very hard, because everything is laid out there for you. Then it's just a matter of like, will you do it? Because it's pretty easy to do it. You just gotta, like, instead of wherever you're wasting your time, put it there. So yeah, that's been important. And then the last thing that's on my mind recently is like, bro, I'm big on this mindset stuff.
Do you think?
Yeah. The last thing that's been on my mind is like dopamine fasting, or just fasting in general. Like, cause those things that stop you, a lot of times is like those little leaks, like small leaks sink big ships. And so like if you're leaking your energy in scrolling on social media, or like smoking too much, or just like TV, or anything that's like pleasurable rather than like making progress, really, it's probably giving you some sort of dopamine hit. And the problem with that is that dopamine is the thing that makes you motivated in the first place. And if you're not, like, if you're getting a big hit of dopamine from those time wasters, those things that are kind of like empty calories that don't serve anything, it makes everything else where you would have got a dopamine hit from less pleasurable, less rewarding. And so instead of being motivated to do your work, which, it's the simple things of like getting new information, reviewing that, taking action on the couple of things you need to do every day, you don't have the motivation anymore, because you literally are training your brain to like the empty calories rather than like the things that are going to actually make you progress. So I think that's a huge thing. And you can just look up like dopamine fasting on YouTube, and there's plenty of videos on it. All it is just abstaining from the things that are stealing your focus. And you kind of have to be aware of that in the first place to know what to stop. But it's the empty calorie things. So like if you're listening, I would just take like 5 minutes and like write out, what are the empty calories? Like what are the things I'm wasting time on or energy on in my life? And get clear on those things, and really like maybe make a list, or like review those every day, and then like kind of see what are the ones that are like the most difficult to stop doing. Then focus, good week, 2 weeks on eliminating that one thing from your time, and you'll notice just naturally you have more energy, and more motivation to do the things that you wanted to do all along. I really think like social media is really like just stealing and killing a lot of people's motivation. So I think that's a really big habit to get into as well.
Especially just scrolling on for hours and hours on end.
And it's set up that way. Like
it's set up.
It's set up that way, and like the algorithms, they're so damn optimized for our brain. Like you spend, like you can do an experiment on YouTube, on Instagram, YouTube, wherever really, and just look at one specific thing. If it's like just sports, like just look at a couple of sports videos and notice how all of a sudden there's way more of that. And it's like whatever you pay attention to, they're just gonna keep on feeding you more and more of that. It's literally called a feed. And so like you want to be aware of that and just be able to detach from that. Maybe set like boundaries, like set rules for yourself and live by them. Set consequences, rewards for yourself, so that you are doing the right things. Or, you know, just do the right things before you even allow yourself to go on social media, or just block it completely. Because that's the stuff that literally, scientifically even, like is stealing and killing your motivation.
And there you have it, folks. Swishh Music. Spencer. Quote.
Yes, sir.
For the last, I don't know how long that was, but
36 minutes, something like that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna make sure there's a way I can express all the information that was given here properly.
Bet.
Y'all, thank y'all for tuning in. There was a lot of gems, I feel as though, that were dropped, especially if you are headed down that, put in your own business route, or even just life in general. I feel like you can get a lot out this episode today. Tap in with Swishh if you do music. That's all I gotta say. Tap in with Swishh. Tap in with me, of course, because why wouldn't you want to? Just support, man.
For real.
And I'm out of here, y'all. Much love to everybody watching. Peace.
All right, man.